Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do X from Dark Horse Comics. This is issue number 13. We're going to continue the war for Arcadia. Now, this is basically a preview of what's to come, but it has also a twist that I didn't see coming, but it's also not really something that I expected or is hinted at all. So for me, that surprise is a little bit flat, to be honest. And there is some issues here, so we're going to address that. So first of all, we have X lured into the corner by the police, right? And so this, I don't know, underground. And so yeah, but then the cops want, to cuff him, but then the lieutenant says, get away from him. And of course, X is going to use that situation to his advantage because they are afraid to shoot because otherwise they can, hit themselves. And yeah, I didn't know that X was that athletic. Yes. And then he shoots the high voltage box and everything is going black. But then I thought, okay, he's getting out of here, right? Well, yeah. But then the lieutenant, I forgot his last name, but let's call him Timothy. He says, hey, you guys go out of here and I'm gonna go after him because he's hurting a lot of people and I need to get him, right? So, and it turns that this, I don't know, some kind of it's not an alleyway, more a passage. But then X is just waiting there from here and he says, hold it. He says, Lieutenant Timothy, go away. I want you alive. He says, who cares? Stand there or I'll shoot you. Go ahead. What good did it do you last time? Which is true because in number 10, he's just pumped him full of bullets and, X, superhuman as he is, although as far as I know, he doesn't have any superpowers, is just standing there absorbing bullets, right? But then he's pushing this lever, handle, whatever, you know what I mean. And then we see other cops that want to also hunt down X, but then this guy comes out of nowhere, and I still don't know who this guy actually is, or what it wants, or what its purpose is. So we've been hinted, so this guy pops up once in a while, and I still don't know what it actually is, which is, I don't know, just tackle the story, who this is, what is this, an ally, is this a villain, what is he, right? Just tell us. Anyway, so there's a roaring sound, and, this whole sewer, I guess, is being then purged, I guess. And then X climbs out. So what happened to Lieutenant Timothy? He's just still waiting here below. What happened to him? Right? We didn't see that. So which is strange. But then a voice behind X. And it's, oh no, the Judgment Knights. These are basically cops that have a different view of justice. Like Judge Dredd, but then different. These are, Anyway, they're not the good guys. That's what I'm trying to say. So they are attacking him, and X is doing his stuff. He grabs this chain, rips this guy off his motor, and he jumps off it. But the gas tank is being hit, so he's leaking fuel, right? And this guy says, "No, we're not gonna follow him. We're gonna set this thing on fire." And then this guy's talking. So these are cops, have a different view on justice, like I said before, right? He says, I almost hate to do it. He had value, took a lot of people down. And crooks are one thing. People expect them to be murdered. You white politicians, you draw heat. We're on schedule. And the heat's all his. Used to be a cop, got respect in this town. Used to be bad guys backed off. Bowed a little instead of signing our paychecks. New day coming. And it'll seem like old times. Us, they respect. Someone's go scrape him off the pavement. So, okay. So he's going to Lieutenant Timothy, right? Lieutenant Timothy and Lieutenant Lewis. Figures. Got something to prove. It gives you a will to live. They want to believe they're real cops, guardians of the law. But it's not about the law. It's about respect. A real cop would have known that. But then this guy says, by the way, X is not here. He escaped. So he kicks this guy in the gut. Says, you should have killed him when you had the chance. All right. And then he's bragging that soon they will have the, coming out of the shadows in the rightful place in the halls of power. Anyway, so then we go somewhere else that confuses me a little bit here. Well, like I said, the pacing is not really that good, but it's Diana Goretti, right? And she says, Commissioner Hughes, you have to protect me, right? Carmine Tangos put out a hit-on order on me. They broke into my home last night. But these are all criminals, right? Or, well, not really criminals, more like, let's call them criminals because they are corrupt. And she said, it's an emergency. I need protection. You have to send someone to get rid of Carmine. And he says, I don't know what you're talking about. And he says, do you want to file a complaint? And she says, what is it with this legal crap? Do what I tell you. You work for me. And he says, keep your voice down, right? I don't know what you're talking about, he says. And she's getting angry. Didn't he get the idea through your head? Didn't he tell you to the price of this job? You cross me, you cross him. He, the ex-killer. So you don't know. He never spoke to you. He lied. But if he lied, I got no protection. So, okay, I think, what is going on here? And he says, have fun with Tango. And he says, well, if you don't know what's going on, you can come back to me and I help you maybe. So, and then we have Major Teal coming in. And Major Teal, he says, hey, I'm going on TV this afternoon, right? Because he has a message. And the message is that, basically talking about X and that they are hunting him, right? And that he is purging his hideouts. I said, really? Did they do that? Because I didn't see that in this comic. And so X is here at this, restaurant, I guess. And he says he's doing intimidation, arson, bombing, murder, right? Well, it must have seemed the police and the major office were helpless. We undertook all this time a major investigation. With little to go on, we have systematically peeled layer upon layer on mystery. And last night, the police, under the command of Inspector Cossie, located and destroyed the ex-killer's main base of operation. You did? And they say, well, the ex-killer is not at large, but we will find him. But then X is saying, really? So he's paying a visit to Major Teal. He says, be afraid of me. Your life is mine, to give or take. Remember those words? Do you think I'll let this go? He says, what are you mad about? I didn't want to make that speech. Didn't I do it right? Wasn't it your idea? I get the letter. He says, letter? What are you talking about? He said, well, look at here, right? It's all been written here. Jesus, you got me so scared. I couldn't risk not doing what it said. It spelled out everything. Look, it says nothing. Depends on where you stand. And he gets this sword into his chest. Now, I'm not sure how he did that. I mean, you have to have immensely powerful arms and momentum to push katana through his chest and through the wood. And this guy is boasting, and I said, what are you talking about, man? I cannot follow you. So he's just talking nonsense in my opinion. And oh no, he rips off his mask, and it's none other than Alamut. So you think, who is this guy? Yeah, well, exactly. So it says last seen in X number 1. Now, that's not entirely true because I thought, wait a minute, he wasn't X number 1. I reviewed that. So I go back and I check the whole video and I check the comic. He isn't there. So the confusion is that he was in issue number 6 and 7. And, he's basically the mastermind. He wants to kill X, because he wants to rule Arcadia or something like that. And it's all... And then how did you get into the office and change yourself into Major Teal? And where's Major Teal himself then? Did you, I don't know, throw him into a corner and behind bars somewhere in your lair? Where is he? Right? All right, but we don't get any answers. So this guy's being attacked by ninjas, right? And this guy's talking about, I don't know, man, bringing of chaos and wildfire and civilization and corruption. I don't know, he's talking gibberish. Well, X is trying to, to get out of here, right? Still with this thing in his chest. And now he rips it out. He's bleeding, right? But that, he's getting overwhelmed because he's weakened. And he gets another... Wait a minute. That's a very weird pose. I mean, how? Is this... Like that? How do you do that? This is a weird hand pose. It seems that this sword is going through his knuckles or something. It's not like, like he's doing this, with the hilt here. It looks so weird. Anyway, so then, what's his name again? Alamut. For weeks I watched you in silence and secrecy. Everything you've done for me. Right? And he says, I set the police on the monster's trail, falsifying clues, knowing it would lead to you. Right? So he wants to kill him with the sword. So he charges in and then... Oh, hands. What? Dead already? I haven't had my sport yet. It's not worth the effort now. What a frustrating adversary. Or are you just being clever? So he says, oh, you are pretty dead. No imagination, not even a real name. Bring him along. He still has a part to play. Now, just a second later, he just could have, chopped off his head or, skewered this sword into his brain or something. So that's a big risk he's taking. Maybe he's just out of it, right? I don't know. Maybe I thought, okay, this is fake. He's faking it, but probably he's out and no heartbeat or something. So he is dead? Of course he's not dead, but I'm not sure what he is then if there's no heartbeat. Maybe there's a trick. I don't know. So they throw him into the river and this guy got this cape. Interesting. This isn't dye. It's blood and still damp. I wonder how he managed that. Yeah, I wondered that too. I mean, if this is real blood, is this a cape full of blood? How? I don't know. But it leads us to the next issue because Lord Ahamut must remain a mystery because we still don't know who he actually is, right? I mean, I don't think, just like in issue number 7, that this is his real face because in issue number 7 he has also a mask because that's one of the reasons that he escaped X, right? Because he's changing into another guy. So he's donning now the identity of X and probably goes on a rampage, which is very interesting to me to see how it all... and then, it leads us to this issue. And I think, okay, this looks good. He looks a little bit like Iron Man's foe, the Mandarin, a little bit. He has that same vibe and that look also. But yeah, this guy coming out of the woodworks and said, ha, it was all a trick. It was all me, X. Yeah, that comes out a little bit like, what? There's no hints of that. So it for me, it falls a little bit flat. It's not by a long shot a bad book. It's actually, in my opinion, a very fun book, but some things just doesn't add up. The flow of the story could have a little bit better, in my opinion. So, guys, we're going to continue X into the next video. Well, not in the next video, but in a while. Stick around. Thank you for watching, as always. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my video, leave a comment, and see you next time. Bye-bye.